everyone, I'm Emma Wise, and thanks for watching my last of 4 vlogs. On the Learning Culture and Technology program in Europe, I've discovered so much about myself personally and professionally, and all of my experiences here in Europe have allowed me to see how I can still improve in many areas, but also see how I've grown. Going into the trip, I expected just simple experiences with European schools, but in fact our program gave us a much more interactive approach than I anticipated, even in just experiencing Dutch culture. From my past 3 vlogs, I've documented experiences that made me feel out of my comfort zone and how I dealt with the situation. And this process was extremely useful for me. It showed me how much reflection is necessary in my personal life and even when I become a teacher. Because as a teacher, I need to make sure to always reflect on my teaching practices to make sure I'm doing the most effective job possible. Personally, too, I need to continue to reflect on my actions to make sure I'm still making strides as a competent global citizen, traveler, citizen of the United States, things like that. So my 3 former vlogs before this have kind of built up on each other, and they've utilized this sense of reflection to the maximum. On my first vlog, I was supposed to document an hour by myself, and this one actually came unintentionally. I ended up by myself in Paris, separated from the group, where I didn't know the language, I don't know any French, and I had to overcome the communication barrier and find the group. I ended up spending about an hour by myself in an unfamiliar area of Paris, and I had to use maps, I had to talk to people in stores, I had to talk to locals, trying to communicate with hand gestures, a tiny bit of French, and asking them if they spoke English, which was really interesting. And that was a really good experience for me because communicating with those of other cultures I feel like I don't have much experience with, and this was a really good way to kind of test that and push myself forward. So I ended up succeeding. I found the group, I got good directions from people, and I actually started to enjoy myself. I felt very empowered by the fact that I could walk around a city where I knew nothing, no one or anything, and be able to find my way out. So that was a really good experience for me. In my second vlog, I decided to do my hour by myself and make it an intentional experience. So I wanted to really push myself in this one. So at home, I often run, but I always stick to the same route, and I always use my iPod because I just feel like I need it to run. It's kind of a crutch that I lean on. So I had not run in Europe so far, but when we got to Maastricht, I decided this is where I should run. I'm unfamiliar with any of the streets, anything where anything was, and I decided to just go for it. So I set myself some rules. 1 was no iPod, which is very hard for me because I always need it. 2 was I had to take random roads without looking at street signs, and they had to be roads I had never taken before, and I had to change my path often. 3 was I needed to make eye contact and smile at everybody that I passed. And this was very different for me because even at school, I just keep running. I don't make eye contact, I don't smile, I just do my thing. And here, I really wanted to try to connect with people, connect to the culture, and observe around me. And even though at the beginning of the run I was very nervous and very scared, unfamiliar situation, I was a little bit scared of people too that I was passing, I really tried to push myself, and I ended up smiling at everyone that I saw. And I got a little bit lost, which made me freak out a little bit, but I toned it down and was able to find my way back. So that was also a very good experience. My third vlog was probably the most relatable to my future profession as a teacher because it took place in the schools. On the last 2 school visits, we were just in partners, and we had to just go to a school, find the principal, and kind of make up our own agenda for the day and what we wanted to accomplish. This was very difficult for me because I don't like to step on people's toes who are higher in administration than me, but this gave me good experience in trying to ask for what I needed, what I wanted from the experience, and just plan out my own agenda. So, after talking with the principal and seeing his expectations, I was able to tell him mine, and I thought I did a nice job balancing what I needed to accomplish and still paying respect to the school. So I was able to get a really beneficial experience out of my visit there. I was able to see the subject I wanted, observe a class of 8th graders, which is very close to what I want to teach, and I was able to have really great interactions with the students that I was able to make up myself. And I taught them a lesson about Michigan, and they were really excited about it and responded really well. So that was another great experience that really pushed me forward. So all of these experiences really give me hope for growth in the future. Although I've really gained so much from this experience in terms of myself, teaching, knowledge of school policy, I know that the things that I've learned here will continue to help me as I go on. I really don't think I know all that I've learned yet, and I'm excited to see how it's going to affect my teaching and my personal life in the future. But I think the confidence that I've gained here in terms of communication will really help me in the classroom.